Hello everyone. It is the Wednesday 8th September. The time is 10 past 1 p.m. and the temperature is currently 30 degrees. We are at the National Stadium. I've just come from the bus stop at Nicoll Highway there up to this pedestrian bridge. And the view seeing there is the old Kallang Airport building. So a path used to go through that gate to the airport that was in one of the earlier videos I did not too long ago. A path used to go here to the stadium and people would walk over when there are events here. So this is the other end. That's basically just the Kallang and Geylang there. And also the site of what used to be an amusement park here. And there's actually like this whole story written out here. It's kind of an interesting story about the sports and the amusement parks, which used to be in different places around Singapore. And the one that used to be here was called Gay World, and then later on Happy World, I think. Maybe the other way around. I'm not very familiar with this story of the amusement park, but it used to be in that side, and there's still a hotel there with the name Gay World on that old building front. So the new stadium here was also built on the same place where the old one used to be. And we'll walk along there in a little bit. I don't know how open it will be, but we'll be able to cross over. I'll wait for the plane to go by. It's right there. No, cannot see it. Yeah, just a little bit, yeah. Those planes going by again over Geylang and Kallang. But yeah, we'll walk over to the stadium in a little bit. But there is also a really interesting story I didn't know about Happy World's risky side. They had this striptease performer who was really apparently quite famous, Rose Chan, who became famous in 1952 at the age of 27, it says here, when she noticed that her bra strap snapped accidentally, and that led to a wild cheers. So she became the queen of striptease. That's not a story I've heard before, and I think this is a very interesting of those historical facts. You see them around, but not often with those stories. That, of course, is the view of the city in the background. So we're walking over Nicoll Highway. The stadium also has its own MRT stop. This is more for the people who arrive by bus. And we should be out of the street noise once we've crossed here. The stadium, of course, hasn't had that many events going on during COVID. And unfortunately, for the past couple of days, the cases here have been going up. So there's been some talk about possible further measures. There are some other history descriptions here. I haven't seen these before. I haven't looked at them before. There's something about the airport, which I think I read somewhere that the old airport's runway is actually part of this complex, or the sports hub. So this is a place that has a lot of different sports facilities, courts and things. I wonder wonder which way. It's the best way to go. Can we go through here? No, not this one. Let's take a stroll around. Have a look. So yeah, it's not just the National Stadium. It's also the sports hub. There is music as well, which I would prefer not to be around for the potential copyright. So the old stadium on this site was demolished. Before building and opening the new one. So as this new stadium opened, it houses the national team for football, and for different events it can take up to I think 50,000 to 55,000 people inside. They were going to also house here the National Day Parade, or I think that was the plan, but with that they noticed that some of the events that traditionally take place on National Day couldn't be held here in the new stadium because all of the things couldn't be seen so well because it's quite closed. And addition to that, they couldn't have like the people who do the parachuting, they couldn't land here, all kinds of things like that. So I think this should take me to Stadium MRT. So let's go here and try to find the way down to the surrounding area. Stadium MRT. Oh, the escalator is even working, although the other way around. That's a good sign. So this area is quite big with the sort of sporting venues and facilities. There's also a shopping center around this area. And of course the MRT. I'll walk today towards Tanjong Rhu, which is on the other side of Kallang River, so we'll see if we'll end up crossing to that side. There's the Kallang Basin. This is a popular area to spend time outside, outdoors, especially on the weekends. You will see a lot of people around. There's some kayaks for water sports, I think. There's a nice breeze going on, but it might be picked up by the mic, so you might hear a bit of that. It's a nice, little bit cloudy afternoon. And there in the distance you can now see Marina Bay Sands, which is, like I said, it's visible from a lot of places in Singapore, in the city area. So here's about the wetland biodiversity of the Kallang Basin. On one of the earlier videos we did see the otters, so they do live around here as well. And now if we look back at the National Stadium, you can see that it can be opened up. So this new stadium was opened on 30th June 2014. And if I understand correctly, that roof structure there, the opening dome that can be retracted, is the world's largest at the moment. And it's supposed to allow a lot of different types of sporting events, because you can basically change things around a little bit. And along here, with the shops and the restaurants, they are all look very closed at the moment. But during normal times on the weekend, this is a really nice area. There are some people out on the water. And some others are playing some beach volleyball over there. Another plane is flying by. I'm sure we'll hear it shortly. There's information on which of the towers is which and how old they are. It's a nice view of the city skyline here. There on the other side is Tanjong Rhu, mostly residential area. It used to be an area for the shipping industry and repair and building of ships. But none of that is left today. But it means that I think as early as 1822, there was some shipping industry over there. It's very weird that they blast the music here because, like I said before, restaurants are not allowed to have music. I guess it must be the shopping center, the stadium that's playing it. It's very quiet in this area on a Wednesday. So ahead there is the bridge leading over to Tanjong Rhu. Seems like there's a running event going on as well. Not today, obviously there's no one here now. Let's have another look at the view over Kallang Basin and then that way Kallang River. And the Tanjong Rhu residential houses have a different look to most others around here. So a couple of times on Sundays my normal walk that I was doing before I was even doing these videos would be to walk from Kallang along the riverside all the way to here. And if we go around the Tanjong Rhu area, then we end up in the Bay East Gardens, so on the other side of the Gardens by the Bay. There are some more restaurants here. So let's cross over to the other side. I think that's some kind of a lighthouse or a similar, but access to that has been blocked, I think, every time I walked around here. They seem to be sort of resurfacing that. There are definitely some benches, so it probably won't be closed off forever. So that's where you would be walking towards if you were going to Kallang. So that entrance is certainly not in use, but maybe at some point. And there's where we come from. We came from the National Stadium along the bridge. And that will take us to another of these park connectors, which are pretty much parks in their own right, areas to cycle, jog, and just walk outdoors. There's a bit of a map. There's some development here. This is going to be on the a station, an MRT station on the Thompson East Coast line. That's the new MRT line, and there should be a video on the channel already where I visited that MRT line and the new stations, a couple of them. But this is the next stage of the development, or a further state of the development. You can see it's not it's not opening right now. But in the future there will be a MRT station here on the Thompson East Coast line. So there's actually a pretty good view of how the stadium dome opens up as well. You can see, well, I can see, maybe you can see as well, the seats inside actually from this angle. I've been inside the stadium for a football match. It's a nice new stadium. Should we go around here? I think we'll go on this path here, and that will be pretty much the same views already, so we've seen that. Let's go and have a look around the corner. So, group size is limited to 5. You can see the bridge over there, cars going into the city. So it's pretty close to the time when Singapore is opening up after a very long time to basically anyone from Germany who has applied for coming here. It's specific flights that they take, but I understand those flights will be, the first ones will be arriving very soon. So, of course, hoping everything will go really well with that. We've had a rise in cases, nothing too dramatic compared to many other places, but over 300 cases a day, which is more than Singapore has really had. But of course also most people are vaccinated, so hopefully things will go well with people being able to travel a bit more, and also the case is not getting too bad. And I've seen some European companies now starting to fly again directly to Singapore. Not as many flights as before all of this started, but it's still, direct flight is always nice to have, even if it's a couple of times a week instead of many days a week. And the number of countries where people can not go to a hotel quarantine but stay at their homes when they come back has also increased, or is increasing, I think. So it will be possible for people who didn't travel to other places than these countries on that list to come back, do a number of tests, COVID tests, and then they can spend the 2-week quarantine period in their homes. Cannot go outside at all, but except for your tests, which are, I think, designated. But previously you had to do that staying in a hotel and also pay for the costs of that. So that means that a lot of people haven't traveled home who are working in Singapore long term and haven't seen their families, which is a lot of people around the world, of course. But if we can see any improvements there, then I'm sure that will make a lot of people very happy.
Tip, I suggest we stop at Rhu Walk.
And of course it will be really good that people will eventually be able to also come to Singapore as tourists. It's an important industry here, and certainly will help in many ways if that can happen. And obviously still everything needs to stay under control with the case numbers and things, but what a great thing if a bit of normality can come back. I think I'll cross to that main pathway over there rather than go around. I think it will be nice to get around that corner and have a view of the city side. So that's where we come from, or have come from today, from the stadium over there. Just waiting to see that I can cross. There are views of the city and the traffic bridge. I don't think I'm brave enough to actually walk that bridge, but someone is at the moment. And then beyond there you can see first of all you can see the buildings for the Formula 1 Grand Prix, which we haven't had, but hopefully at least some events will be back soon. And then behind there are the super trees, which are the artificial structures at Garden by the Bay. And the big glass domes there are the indoors gardens. A lot more cyclists along here. I guess the views are pretty nice. I walk the other side of the bridge to have a nice view of the gardens by the bay and the city. Look at that bridge. It's very high. I have once before had the problem that I was on this side and wanted to go to a restaurant on the other side and just refused to walk over that thing. I think I mentioned I have a fear of heights. I still do all kinds of things. I was tempted to go up there, but I know I wouldn't enjoy it. It's very windy, which would make that bridge even worse. There's some renovation going on here. Construction. That's Passion Wave at Marina Bay, and there's Kontiki, a restaurant called Kontiki, which has a really nice view over here as well. So I'm just going to walk beyond the bridge so we can have a look at the sights. And I'm going to end this walk somewhere along there. Oh, there's a little boy who just fell on his bike. I hope he's okay. He didn't have any speed at all. So hopefully he's okay. So we are just where you would walk into the gardens on the east side, and I think this is a nice spot to have a look across the river at the city. I hope you enjoyed this walk with me from the stadium all the way through Tanjong Rhu, here to the Bay East Gardens, which start here. It's a really nice, calm place to go walking, and yeah, I hope that has been a relaxing and nice walk with some very different sights as well. If you'd like to see more walks in Singapore in this type of areas and also completely different types of walks, then you can subscribe to the channel and you'll find out when new videos are posted or when I publish new videos. And then you can join me for those ones as well, and that would be wonderful if you choose to do so. So thanks so much for giving me a reason to come out here today. I think I'm going to end this video here and continue walking into the gardens. Just enjoy this cloudy weather for a little bit. And I hope I'll see you again soon.